Hello, everybody. Brian here. Anybody out there? We are doing our live Ask Me Anything cryptocurrency. I'm on YouTube, on Zoom. If you are interested, I'll be going through a log right now. Just debugging a log for now until I get people online. This video will be deleted if there's no value that comes out of this, but I don't mind hanging around here. I will tell you, if you are live, that we are right now. We are going through the logs as usual. I'll be removing these and all the videos around it due to the system has had an amazing Friday, Saturday with a 32% return. Hopefully you see my email on it today or my latest posting on the blog. That is a pretty incredible move with two different cryptocurrencies that enabled it. But right now, just going through the latest changes for today. Let me just see what we have on the database for now. Just so you know, I did run into some bugs. Right now we've got 5 currency pairs. We're definitely in a down day right now. The watch list is down to 5 pairs. I am just looking at the latest debugging, and there is quite a lot of, I just want to show you a position that was taken on, today the 8th? Yeah, so this position right here, which was the 8th, you can see here that's down 3.2%. A couple explanations here. This one at 3.2 was taken on when it shouldn't have been. I fixed that. For instance, it did meet all the conditions at this time, but the very 5-minute was negative. That position should not have been taken on. As a result, I've patched that on the 5-minute data. So if the 5-minute data for this pair and when it's watching on the watch list, if it is negative, I do not take the position. But in this case, it was a bug. It did take on the position. Also, I want to mention 3 of these positions here, last 3 earlier today, were running for more than, I'm going to estimate about 6 hours. I've also now added a condition when the positions that are open are more than 3 hours. Now, I'm just guessing at 3 hours if that's optimal or not. I will close the position if it's positive or profitable or not. So for some reason, these two, XMR Ethereum and ONT BTC, over 4 hours, 5 hours, did not change. I have no idea why that's the case. But they automatically closed. And this one didn't really change a whole lot, 0.39%. So it closed up that as well. But you'll see here, I do, before I take on a position, one of the risks I do as a filter to ensure that the position that I'm about to take on has positive momentum. A lot of times I used to have it where momentum, regression, and ROCP over a certain time would be positive. And sometimes I've also figured the parameter that it seems to be fairly universal to ensure that that position before I take it on is profitable or will be profitable. If it's not, the momentum is not higher than that position, or that momentum is not above a certain parameter, it won't take on the position. And usually that seems to work pretty good no matter what the market condition is. As in this case, it's all negative, as I hinted at earlier. So these are the percent changes of the price moves of these crypto coins against US dollar over the last 3 hours. So you can see it's quite negative. So, you know, I'm working on ways to eliminate trades and positions that will go against me. So that's what I've got working. And I always go through these logs to ensure that this is the case on the theory, because I'm able to find situations where I can find a reason why that position did go negative. And 100% of the time I do that and have the ability to do that. And I can prove that to you right here, where on Friday, when I fired up the new system, the changes I made on Thursday night, all of these positions that were taken on October 5th, which I think is Thursday, there were no losses on the ROCP, rate change percentage. On the positions, when the positions closed out, they were closed out at basically 0%, no moves. And that's the case. I could confirm that as well, because, yeah, we don't want to take on losses. But here, towards 1 in the morning, this is when all good luck happened up until this point, which totals 33%, even if you net out this losing position here. And that was between 1 o'clock in the morning, October 6th, which is Friday. No, is it Friday? No, it's Saturday. Let me just check my calendar here. Let me just make sure I got my dates right. Just give me a second here. So we've got October, where's my calendar? So today's October 8th. So October 6th is Saturday. So this is what I thought. These two positions here in the BTG against Ethereum and Bitcoin were both up 6.2 and 8.5% as of Saturday morning at 1 in the morning. And that can be confirmed that these positions were winners. Obviously, this is a loser. But when you even net it all out, you're down to about 11, 12% move just in the span of 1 a.m. till 9:55. So in the span of about 10 hours, you're up 13%. And later in the day, actually a few hours later, 13:20, we take on these new positions with Steam here that are up for 1.62, 1.13%, which totals about 32%. And then, as I said, we've got some new ones that I've added. This one could have been controlled. And as I said, this one was negative because I allowed the system to take on a trade at 5 minutes when it was negative, and it shouldn't take on that trade. So that's been patched up. These last three today are for ones where the position is open to closed. And when you have the position open that long, it makes me feel uncomfortable, so I just have it close off automatically after 3 hours. So that's pretty well it so far. I'm just going through the logs looking for any other anomalies. One thing I can also verify is when I went through the logs, I'm noticing since mid last week, the positions, the swings are not as wide as they used to be for the last prior 2 weeks. We don't get the swings that I used to get here anymore consistently, meaning the chances of the overall weighted average among these 5 big crypto pairs or coins will not hit 1% overall in a 24-hour period. I'm seeing fewer of that. So I've had to readjust my strategy to accommodate that. And one of the big factors was, as I said, it's no longer watching 300 pairs on Binance. It's watching about 30. Okay, a couple of questions. Hi, Brian. Do you recommend learning Swift for algorithmic trading? This is for BitCity. BitCity, no. I have thought about Swift. I don't like, let's put it this way. Swift is open source and it's really sponsored by Apple. I was really excited by Apple about, let's say, a year ago. and I did believe in Apple. What I've noticed with Apple, for whatever reason, the service of Apple, when you pay premium for a lot of their product, is not what it used to be at the retail level. And because of that, you start to lose confidence in Apple as a company in terms of why you would want to go with Apple technology, both on the hardware and the software level. So because of the, we'll just call it customer service issues, concerns, or whatever, I no longer support Apple technology as much as I used to because of that. And as a result, I'm more geared towards non-proprietary software, specifically in open source programming languages, and obviously Python are open source. So I would promote those type of languages. And I know Swift is open source, but it's still tied back to proprietary technology, which is obviously Apple and iOS. So it doesn't make me feel comfortable about that. And you could also say the same thing about Android. And the new, what's coming out is a Google TensorFlow for machine learning. Version 2, which is supposed to come out either December, January, is going to be totally different, much easier to work with. It's going to have Keras rolled into the new version 2 of TensorFlow. And as a result, when I've looked at the coding of it and learning of it, it's much easier. It's much more stripped down. So it's easier to work with. So where does that take me? With TensorFlow, because it is Google technology, it is open source. The thing is that what I'm finding with Google technology, it's not a good place to be. But when you look at things, the movement of Android, open source editions of Android, it's typically a good example would be Lineage. I just noticed that my screen's not opened up. Hang on here. Sorry about that. I'll help you out. Let me just share my screen here. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. Okay, so sorry about that. So going back to the Android open source like Lineage, Lineage is a really cool language, and it's pretty exciting because it gives you access to a lot of the Google technologies, specifically Lineage. TensorFlow, and because of that, that gives you the ability to work with hopefully a TensorFlow or open source machine learning library, and obviously it's built around machine learning. So I'm kind of leaning obviously more towards Android and open source technology. So not because Android comes from Google, but because it can be open source. So one of the things I could, let me just see here. Okay, let me just show you. So if you look at Lineage open source, Lineage Android, Lineage open source Android, it's very exciting because it will maintain your privacy as well as give you all the open source that you would look for. So this is a cool operating system, and all technologies built around this will make a big difference. So if you know Suraj Raval, he's shown demos where you can take a TensorFlow model and deploy it onto the Google Cloud. You can deploy it onto Google Cloud with the TPUs, TensorFlow processing units, on top of being able to deploy it in Android. Because it's Android open source that you have access to Lineage, it gives you the ability to meet all the criteria I'd be after and not be tied back to a proprietary technology like Apple. Because as I said, I'm more about open source wholeheartedly now. I purposely don't use Microsoft product, and it really pains me to have to pay a licensing fee for something when I can get the same thing equivalent in open source. So when you look at Python, it's pretty enhanced. So somebody asked, CodeGem, AirSwap is the lowest market coin cap on Binance. How about that? Well, I don't know air swap. Let me just check out this thing, air swap. I will tell you, thanks for the question. I will tell you air swap on Binance. Yeah, so I use Binance. I've been using Binance for, I don't know, 6 months, let's say, at least. And that's bizarre. What is air swap? Okay, this might help me out. Yeah, so with air swap, I need to see the volume. That's the killer. Let me just do, let's say, an hour of data. Okay. Because if the volume's low, I don't think it would matter, no matter what you think or what I think. It comes down to volume. I've seen charts like this numerous times, and I guess it's not moving a whole lot. I mean, that's on a daily basis. So let's just see what this is about. Usually, down here, let me just, you see right here, the volume is very low. So man, oh boy, I don't like these things. Let me just, okay, but you can see here the volume is quite low and, or sorry, quite high. Did hit its peak in May. Wow. But the volume here is very low. And I think it's pretty hard to trade to get fills. That's why I switched my strategy from watching these kind of pairs, and because the volume is too low. And here's the problem with it. Even though in this case, even let's say if I looked at I think this was an hourly basis. Let me just get through this junk here I got set up. Even if I went after hourly basis, let me just refresh this. So that's the daily I'm looking at. Okay, so if I look at hourly basis, 0.86 to 0.99, it actually looks pretty good. But it's still choppy. Here's the problem. I could have a system take on these positions, and you will find you will get quick moves. Actually, this is quite a good one, actually, on an intraday basis. It's looking good. The volume's pretty strong on this level. So I take back all the stuff I said prior. So that looks pretty good, actually. Let me just see here. Let me put it this way. When I switched over my strategy from not analyzing 300 plus pairs on Binance with the smaller ones like this one, the reason I did that was because usually you can get movements against you very quickly, and because of that, what tends to happen is you'll have higher probability of losing positions, and that's something I'm trying to eliminate. As I was saying earlier, on my watch list here, if I went through all this, I take care to make sure that before I take on a position, that there's positive momentum for it over a 3 to 6 hour time frame. If it's negative, I don't have a need to take it. And the reason I say this compared to smaller coins like this Air Step or Air Swap, I think you're putting your portfolio and trading performance at a much higher risk. So when you look at my current setup, these are the current pairs that I'm watching right now. Again, this is the current condition of the market, which is down obviously on the big coins. So if I went in right now to trade this coin, maybe today it might do well, and tomorrow it might not be doing well. It's all driven by volume. So what I found was the smaller coins, because they don't have enough volume, they can move faster against you. And because of that, that will mean you will lose money or have a higher probability of losing money, and a lot of it if you have cryptocurrency pairs that go against you in a higher risk market, in a down market. So I don't take those trades. It's not worth it. I have these trades right here, and these are probably going to be of high value, of volume. So okay, so let me just show you. The system is working. Let me just get rid of my email here. So we have two parts of my system now. I've split it up. This is the download part, and this is the pricing engine, you can call it, that analyzes the watch list. So what happens is I have a watch list now, a live watch list that's working. So I can easily just grab the latest watch list log and be able to look at what's happening on the volume level of these pairs. So let's say I'm going to do a watch list 2, the one I just copied. Go to the end here and see what's going on with these positions. Okay, this is critical because this is how I learn about trading. So this is an important message right here. Once upon a time on my watch list, I had Steam, and my system automatically will get rid of pairs that have too many negative moves over a certain amount of time. So in that case, Steam, Ethereum got removed. Now with the other ones that I mentioned that are on the watch list, ADA, which is Cardano, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then BAT, Bitcoin, I can determine what's the current volume over the last little bit. So right now it's 1725. 3 minutes ago, I can see what's happening on these pairs. Really, this is really important stuff because these are the last 3 minutes. So ADA, BTC, the RSI is not strong. It's not hitting a volume. 15 minutes ago, it wasn't even as strong, and the hourly was slightly there. When you look at the rate of change over the last 5 minutes, it's kind of weak. It's only 0.07%. 15 minutes, it's 0.3. But on an hourly basis, an hour ago, it was moving at 1.23%. That's pretty strong. Then you can look at ADA in the last 3 minutes, where the RSI is 60 and so on. But you can see that the rate of change is at 1.1% up, and 15%, or sorry, at 15 minutes at 0.5% up, and then hourly. So my point here is, if I look at the volume, you can see it's quite strong at 14,000 over the last minute, or last, I think it's 15 minutes. But whereas if I looked at a crypto pair like the one that you mentioned here, let me just go back to my browser here. The pair that you have here, this AST, the question is, what's the volume of the last little bit? And you can see how small it is. It's so minuscule. If I was to put on that trade, I would have a hard problem filling it. It's a big one, so there'd be a lot of slippage there. On top of, it's not going anywhere. It's not moving. So when you go after pairs that have some decent volume, you can have a higher probability of making profit with these pairs that I have right in front of me, specifically ADA BTC, ADA Ethereum, and BAT BTC. You got it? Okay, good. Codengin's got it. That's why I'm saying it's important to put money and the same amount of risk on other pairs that have higher volume. It's critical because you'll have, as I said, you'll have problems with slippage, which means it could go against you. If the coin moves against you, and those small ones will move against you very quickly, you'll have a high probability of losing money on that position. Whereas at this point in time, ADA BTC, ADA Ethereum, and BAT BTC have a higher probability of making money right now. Now, I can also say this right now as well, and I can say this guaranteed. My system will not take on this position right now because the 5-minute on BATC is negative. So it will not take that trade because of the choppiness and the potential of it being negative down the line, which we don't want. So I'd rather put more effort on these two pairs, 88 BTC, which are more positive and showing being positive, and they have a volume behind it. Next question is, when is a good trade to trade an XRP? Now it went up on a run already. Okay, I'll tell you, I don't know the exact date for XRP, but maybe I could show you the chart. Okay, that was a really good opportunity, and I'll tell you what happened to my system. My system caught it, and let's just say BTC or XRP, Ripple. Okay, so we'll do, okay. See what I'm saying right here? This is a good example. This is typical of any market. The market, for whatever reason, XRP comes along and it moves up very quickly. You can see the volume here is quite high, but then you get into these weird situations where it goes flat and then it drops. My system, so let me get the date on this thing. Okay, so that's around September 20th, which is around that time. So let me see if I can somehow blow this up. So we're looking at, let's say, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, that time frame. But I put in hourly time frames, okay, for those dates. Okay, so I'm going to roll it back as an example. Okay, so if I go back to roughly the 21st on an hourly basis, let's see, am I there yet? You see what's happening here on the 20th? You see how it is grinding up, but the problem is when there's a green candle, there's now a red candle, and then a green, green, red, green, 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 red. And this is on an hourly basis. Basically, what's happening here is this coin for XRP is too choppy. Even though day by day it has gone up, and if you're trading like that, you will see profit. But I've learned over time that the profit's in the intraday on an hourly basis. So my system will take these trades, but I'm losing money at the end of those trades because, as you can see here, on how these trades, any of these positions, there's literally after an hour, there's a 50% chance or a greater likelihood of that 50% chance that the trade will go against me and I lose money. And that's what happened on those days between the September 20th to 22nd. I took on a number of positions and I lost a lot of money when my system took them on because of the choppiness was so extreme on the negative. It was a downside risk. You can see right here. This is January 23rd, and it comes back up. So this is a very difficult pair to trade, and that's what happened to me. So again, it comes back to risk, that my system will always look back a certain period of time, looking to see if there's any negative moves on an hourly basis. Because I'll tell you, if there is, it's too risky to take on. The choppiness is too risky, so it won't take the trade. Yeah, good for you that you're able to trade at the top. I don't know what your time frames that you're watching. If you're watching on a daily or an hourly basis, but when you trade on the hourly basis, you get creamed, as you can see here, with the amount of red bars or red candles going against you. So my system failed here, and that was a lesson that I coded up my system and changed it to look back at the history on an hour basis to see if there's any negative moves. And if there is, don't take the trade, because you can see right here, it will lose money on a hourly basis. And that's what happened to me. As opposed to, let me just visually see how the ADA is doing. Okay, so I'm gonna do another copy here to get the latest data on a minute by minute basis. And this is what I like doing because it gives you, this is almost in real time. So I can watch to see what's happening to ADA right now. So once I go to the bottom here, you can see still here, ADA in the last few minutes has been fairly positive, but right here, it's negative, okay? So that the difference there was 1918, 1933, so it's negative, and it's slightly negative, but it's still a trade I wouldn't take on due to these negative moves over a last period of time, because there's going to be a probability there of it going negative. When you take on the position, as soon as the system sees it go negative, it cuts the trade to minimize the loss, and that's what it does. So the reason why my system will not take that trade, let's just make sure I get the latest data here. So we still have ADA here for both Ethereum and Bitcoin. It won't take those trades until we get positive momentum for a period of time. Okay, and that's why it's not taking those trades. If it settles down, the system won't take a position or a trade until it sees a series of positive bars over 5 minutes. And usually it works, and you don't care because I've argued this many and time again. What you're looking for are positive moves, and you set your system to hit a target of a profit or percentage move against your overall portfolio, or how much you're willing to deploy for the day. Once you achieve that goal or that target, close down your trades, and you're able to keep your profit. A lot of people don't know that, but that's the number one way to retain your profit. And that's something that works. And I'll tell you, when I look at these moves here, the system stuck to the rules, was disciplined, and it was just like waiting for a fish to come along and the right time to take the trade, which it did. And voila, we got, as you can see here, 6% moves, 6 and 8% moves. And the thing is, you know how I know it works? Because when you look at these two timestamps on when it closed out these positions, they were exactly the same. And it's BTG Bitcoin and BTG Ethereum, which means there's systems out there, algos doing the same thing, and they're trading exactly the same time frame, same time period for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, the stable coins, and cutting the trade to get that profit. And it's the same thing here when you look at pretty close, not exactly as in the BTG, but it's pretty close when you look at, we've made money here with Steam against Ethereum and Bitcoin. We made a little bit of profit, cut the trade, and get out. And that's what it does. It looks for those long periods of positive momentum and profit. And once it finds it, it goes in, puts the entry on, and chances are it will not take a losing trade because of that. And as a result, usually I'll get some form of profit. And as a bonus, I can get these nice swings if the overall cryptocurrency is moving in a major positive momentum, strong momentum. And if it is, we'll get these kind of swings on the trades when they close them out. But back to the query of XRP, it was just too choppy. So that was a learning lesson where, as of that period of time for XRP, I said, do not have the system take on trades where it's too risky when the trading conditions are too negative. Like it's too choppy with too many negative moves. Any other questions? Good questions, though, man. Anybody else? I'm just checking on my Zoom here. I don't think I have anybody. Let me see here. Yeah, it's just myself. It's all on YouTube. Anybody else got any questions? Because I think it's important to understand this with the momentum type of trading. I keep it simple with the indicators that I use because it works. It seems to work real nice. Now, as I was doing at the beginning of this stream here, what I was doing was I was looking at the logs, and my last line I was at line 1936. Let me go back to it, and I want you to understand something, that there's now the Bitcoin, or the overall cryptocurrency, is now in a new regime as of last week, when I said that, you can definitely over a 24-hour period get an extreme move of very strong momentum, and you can trade it and be almost guaranteed to make money with those trades. The regime's changed now. I don't see these extreme strong momentum periods like I used to. It could take a full 24 hours to see one, or a 48-hour period. They're just not there. And I've confirmed in what I post on my Facebook group that what's happening is that Bitcoin itself, and probably all the major cryptocurrency coins, they have settled down. They're not as volatile, and you don't get the extreme moves as you used to, meaning some of the coins would be having an up move of 3-4% on the major ones that I watch, and same on the downside. Those extremes are not there anymore. And some are saying, well, that's because now we have futures, and people are now looking into the Bitcoin markets, it's a futures contract, so it takes out all that volatility. And when you think about it, I haven't looked at the CFTC reports lately, but I'd be very curious to see if there are more Bitcoin contracts being taken out from institutions, which will mean it removes the crazy volatility in the cryptocurrency space or asset class. And I think that's what's going on. And part of that is because of the big losses that started to take hold last week, with the bond market getting hit hard, and some other, obviously the stock markets getting hit hard as well because of these full-on trade wars with China. So all that institutional money is, I think, moving into cryptocurrency space. Kodogen asks, I wish some coins like Maker, MKR were on Binance. It was nice volume and range. Here's the thing you need to ask yourself. I don't know what exchange you're referring to, but there's been an accusation of a lot of the exchanges out there to pump up the volume. And I can tell you that as fact. When you look at, let's go to my Safari here. When you go to CoinMarketCap, let me just see, a CoinMarketCap. Okay, and you look at the exchange volume. In here is a new option. It just used to be exchanges, adjusted, and reported. The reason they do this is with the reported is because a lot of the exchanges were pumping up and putting out fake volume. So you got to make sure whatever exchange you're referring to when that statement is being made, is it a reliable, is it a trustworthy exchange? Because a lot of them, some of the big ones, let me just see here, we have BitMEX, BitThumb, OKX, and all these other ones. Are they reliable? Are they trustworthy? Are they pumping up fake volume? And that's important because if that's the case, you may get, obviously, what you're stating on Maker, MKR, that the volume you speak of may be fake. I don't know. I can't say. But we need to make sure that the volumes are correct. And especially on BitMEX as well, because BitMEX has been accused as well of putting out fake volume as well. But Binance seems to be kind of clean from my perspective, because I've been using it for a while. I haven't seen any weird things happen. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's been very rare. But sometimes, as the Fed would say, you got to pick the cleanest of the dirty shirts. And from my perspective, for just volumes, one thing, but to also ensure that Binance is a cleaner exchange in terms of where they're not pumping out the fake volume. So you ask thoughts on BNB Binance code. Okay, that's good. Question. When you look at the top 100 coins, I think things are drastically changing here. Let me just find BNB. Binance Coin. Yeah, no problem on that. But Binance Coin is looked upon as a stability coin. Hey there, Bazak, B-O-E, how you doing? Binance Coin is looked upon as a stability coin. Okay, when you go to Binance.com, what you'll find here, and I got to thank people on my group, my Telegram group, which is private. You'll see here we have 4 different markets. So we have BNB, BTC, Ethereum, and USDT. BTC and Ethereum are where the volume is. And these are stable coins because Binance is a virtual cryptocurrency exchange. There's no fiat currencies in here, no US dollar, no euro. So they use these stable coins with all the other coins on there to measure against these stable coins. BNB is one of them. From what I've seen and tested, BNB is not as stable, as much volume being pumped through on BNB, even though Binance wants you to use it. Maybe, but there's not a lot of volume on BNB, so that's what BNB is really used for. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then there's this US dollar, the Tether. Right now, or back in the day, a few months ago, I wouldn't even look at Tether as well because Tether, again, doesn't have enough volume. But let's go, if you go back to the crypto coin market cap, what you should be looking for is Ethereum is theoretically going to go down in volume. That's what has been happening over the last week or so. XRP has come up. So now there's demands from people wanting to put XRP on Binance and using it as a stable coin. And that might happen because of the volume of it. And a lot of institutions are moving towards XRP. The other thing is Tether is another coin that's moving up in volume because it's a stable coin. That's what it's looked upon. So BNB is there, but it's dropping off because it's just on Binance. BNB is not bad, but the 2 coins to watch for these stable coins are Tether and XRP. If they get added on as stable coins for Binance. So you'll see now XRP in this tab, and then you'll also see actually more volume being put into USDT. So I'm not saying that BNB is a bad coin, but just look upon BNB as a opportunity for stablecoin. Now, I will say I have seen some. Let me just check my P&L here. I think I had, yeah, right here. You could see I had BNB as a pair to be traded, so you can watch for that. I do have that as a pair I watch because the volume's enough, so you can trade it. So it's something to watch for. But right now, from what I'm seeing, that's what BNB is used for. Okay, so we got a bunch of other questions. Thanks for asking, guys. I don't mind that. Bazabi. So now's a good time to buy in a crypto. I would think so. The problem is if you're doing it as a human, it's challenging. As I was saying before, when you look at the latest changes that I made to my system, right now we've got 4 pairs on the watch list. Now, if you were earlier, let's say 20 minutes ago, my system removed Steam from the watch list, but now Steam is back on the watch list. But as I was explaining earlier, Steam at this time might not be a good option because there's too many negative moves. We talked about it with XRP back in September 20th when XRP started to take off. But as I showed, there's too many negative moves. Now, the problem as a human, it's very hard to capture those and be able to, let's say, watch 4 pairs or 5 pairs or 10 pairs. I say that because these are constantly moving. The timing is so critical if you want to take on a trade when it comes to crypto or any asset, really, because these are moving so fast. So you have to automate. If you automate, crypto is a great asset to be in. And I say that because, as I don't know if you know, but just on Saturday alone, I had a 32% move up. And hey, if you get 30, if you even get 14% annually, you're doing pretty good. But if I was to go really aggressive on that day on Saturday morning and be up 32%, I wouldn't have to trade ever again. But the moves are really good, and it's bottoming out, I think. I don't know if that answered your question, Baz B. Codagen asks, whatever happened to ETC? It did not do well listed. It did not do well being listed on Coinbase. I'll tell you why. Here, this crypto risk, this is a good example of what you're referring to. Wow. Okay, so you can see right now what's going on. Let me just pull up a report from this. Just so you know, I've got all kinds of Python scripts that I have available. I created for myself. So what I've got here is, let me think here how I can do it. Okay, so I have this thing called Risk On. I'm going to run this right now. What this does, it'll go out to Coinbase, the exchange, and measures Bitcoin against US dollar, Bitcoin Cash against US dollar, Litecoin against US dollar, Ethereum against US dollar, and Ethereum Classic. So these numbers that you're looking at are the percent moves down in this case in the last 3 hours. Here's the problem. When you look at, as you ask about Ethereum against US dollar, Ethereum Classic and Ethereum itself against US dollar, you can see the percent moves just in the last 3 hours and how far it's gone down. The story was this, that I think started everything to go down. Hang on. Let me just, okay. So if I go to just the news, do a Google search, a few weeks ago, one of the founders, Vitalik, I better to spell it this way, Ethereum, Vitalik, I can never get I always say it's Monday, that's probably why. So here we go, Vitalik Buterin. And I am going to go into the news. So he's one of the founders. And what he did say was that he was predicting a collapse in Ethereum. And this is, here's the news for the last few days. Get ready for the Ethereum crisis. Ethereum crashes 16-month low. And this is what Vitalik Buterin said on this date, September 11th. Is there no value for Ethereum as of today? And that story right there caused this huge downward move of Ethereum. And as a result, people have questioned Ethereum as now a major cryptocurrency pair because of this. As you can see here in the news, Vitalik is quitting Ethereum. Get ready for an Ethereum crisis, October 5th, and is Vitalik Buterin separating from Ethereum. As a founder of this crypto, that's not good news for Ethereum. I'm sure you know about what's his name of the Linux movement, who was taking quote unquote a break from Linux, and everyone goes crazy on that. It's the same thing here with, I don't know, I'm butchering his name, Vitalik Buterin. If he's quitting Ethereum, it's going to kill off Ethereum. And that's one of the big reasons why XRP has been taking off, because of that, where they predict, if you go into the coin market cap here, you can see that the volume is very close to taking over. And there's been instances, a few days, where XRP has exceeded for the day the market cap of Ethereum. And that's what's happening there. It's because of this news of Vitalik Buterin going to step down, or he's going to quit, and the XRP is going to come and take over Ethereum. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I think that's what's going on. Let me see here. If anyone else got any questions, by all means, pile on in. So that's what I think is going on. And when I time it and look at it on the news against the moves of these different cryptos, it seems to match up. And I put up stuff on my Facebook group as well. And you can tell, based upon the news, what can drive certain cryptocurrencies. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Ethereum is down, or either, as some people like to say. So here's an interesting thing. You have here, Bitcoin is only down 0.42%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin Cash is down 12%. That's big. And that will obviously lower my score. And this is what I refer to on the score. So if I run this other script here called test risk, this will give me a number. It's always different versions of so this number it's going to spit out in a minute. This is what we call the negative, the weighted average. So what it does, it takes the weighted average of the volume of these major cryptos: Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Ethereum. It takes those weighted averages against the current price, and it calculates this average. And because the weighted average is negative 2.16, what happens is I have ways to control and have my strategy change what we can consider an aggression on how it trades. And all it's really changing is the threshold of the different indicators that I use. And I only use two: rate of change and RSI. And it changes those thresholds. And it gets more conservative if it's negative, if this weighted average is negative. So obviously the weighted average is negative, and therefore when you look at my watch list, it only has 5 different pairs. Now remember, I'm only watching 30 pairs, and it's down to 3. So when I look at the different pairs, it will throttle down and reduce the amount of pairs. But you can see here that ADA is still on the watch list. And as I said, we had Steam. So if I go into the watch list and generate a freshest report, split up. So again, this is the freshest data. So my time I got is 7:58. So this will probably be maximum two minutes delay. Or now in this case, sorry, it's 5 minutes. Checks every 5 minutes. You can see here, ADA is still doing okay, but it's not as strong as it was 20 minutes ago. You can see here it's closed off the WAN BTC because of too many negative moves, and that move is right here on the hourly, so it removes it, and as a result, it's confirmed that the volume's too low. Go figure, right? So when you look at that, you also look at Steam, where Steam Ethereum gets removed. The volume's somewhat still there, but again, on the hourly move, it's negative. Now, if there's too many negative of these moves, the system will remove them from the watch list, and that's what's going on. So as I said before, ADA looks okay, but it's not strong enough for the system to take on a position. So it won't, because there's not enough momentum. And the reason obviously is because, well, the market's down, and it's not just down, but it's extremely down, right? Because of this negative 2.1%. And also on the Steam, or sorry, on the ADA side right here, it's doing okay. It's holding its own, but it's not strong enough. If the market comes back, which it will, because the crypto market does oscillate, they'll come back, and maybe this 88 may improve, and those positions will be taken if the momentum's there for that amount of time. Not sure if that answers everyone's questions. I'm down to one person watching. So if you're out there and you want to ask more questions, by all means, please do. We're at 8 o'clock. So I've been running for an hour. If anyone's out there, I'll stay online for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because I know there's a delayed time where everything's out of sync. So right now I got 8 o'clock. And we are waiting. In the meantime, I'll go look at all of this stuff. So I'm looking here. As I said, I clearly do not see any strength in the market. 88 hits these odd times where it does get strong. Okay, Codagen asks, I'm really interested to see how ETC performs in the future. You know, for me to answer that question is very difficult because I'm not a fortune teller. Will ETC come back? Probably. If there's extreme moves in ETC like it first did, there are enough fans and enough people out there to trade it and bring back the volume. But what the key is that when you have XRP right behind it and only $4 billion on the market cap behind Ethereum, there is talk of XRP becoming the next stable coin. I'm not saying that Ethereum will drop off. I don't think it will, but it'll become less relevant. You've heard about Dash was up there for a while. And Doge was considered to be up there. Oh, there's this maker here. That's quite interesting that it's in the 22nd position. But the question is, will it be there? Let's see here if I can change that. I don't think I can. But yeah, Ethereum, I don't know. I think it'll still be there. But on the other hand, you have this Dash was up there for a while and it's losing its relevancy. So who knows? I don't think it really matters from my point of view. All I care is about knowing what's trading today and capturing those trading opportunities. It's all I care about. I don't care what the hot one is. I'm not attached to any of these in any way. So I don't, like I said, I don't really care. What I care about, as I said, on my P&L, I like these kind of moves. You know, the 6 and the 8% moves. That's what makes me money, and that's what I care about. If there was a completely different set of crypto coins tomorrow to trade with the same volume, I care about that, nothing else. And if it's a completely different set, not sure if that answers your question. If you got any more questions, please ask. These are good questions. I'm enjoying this. Really good stuff. Anybody else got any questions? Like I say, I don't mind staying on for 5 minutes or so. If you got any other questions regarding any other type of trading or automation or programming, I'm here for you, man. If you got any questions, let me know. So I do these things. Next week will be interesting because I don't think I'll be doing it on Monday night. I might switch it over to Sunday night. And I might do that instead. Yeah, next week might be Sunday night, not Monday night. But I'll send out an email. Usually my announcements are usually last minute or a couple days before. Does anybody else got any questions? Usually I do it going once, twice, 3 times. I'm not there yet because, as I said, there is it can be out of sync. Anybody got any questions? Okay, let me go back to my log. So you can see here, I always look for this RSI right here to see what's happening on that coin. And when I go through this, there's not a lot of spikes. It's not like the spikes that interest me are these ones right here. But I can also tell it's not strong enough. The rate of change is not strong. When you hit 85 RSI, usually you would like to see 2 or 1%, and right across the board on the 15 and 1 hour as well. And that's going to also confirm the volume to be high as well. But I have seen the RSI and the rate of change be fairly high, but with no volume. Go figure. That's how it is. But the spikes aren't as many, except for ADA. This one right here at 83, not seeing a whole lot over the last few hours. It's been very, very, very quiet because of that downward momentum. But here's one, ZRX BTC. But look at this. Again, it's too volatile. My system wouldn't take this trade because the hourly basis is down 6.2%. So that probably would not be a wise trade or a wise crypto coin to take. Again, you just don't be fooled by these moves because that hourly that negative 6.26 on the hourly, it's going to go negative, and it's going to go negative very quickly, from my experience. What else is there here? I do believe that my system will remove this coin because of the ZRX being too negative on the hourly basis, so it'll eventually get removed. I can confirm that here in the database. Yeah, it removed it. Definitely removed it. It's so predictable now these days on the system, just tweaking it and trying to get it to an optimal performance, which we're getting to. But it's very hard to trade for positive or for any form of profit in an extremely downward crypto market like what we have at 2.16%. So let me see. Yeah, it probably won't take any trades until the market comes back. Here's another one, Neo BTC. That was at 1607. So that was a few hours, 4 hours ago my time. But again, you can see the rate of change is too weak at 0.24%. That's very weak. Even though it's positive, see the hourly here is at 3%, but it's very weak on the 5 minute, which again, my system will not take that. There's not enough momentum behind it. I'm just looking for any other spikes right now. Bum. There's another one, Neo BTC. But again, it's not strong enough. 0.2% is not strong. 1.4 is not too bad, but you want to see at least on all three time frames to be at 1% on all three 5 minute, 15 minute, and hourly. But yeah, the volatility's not as much. The swings are not as extreme as it used to be. So the strategy right now is being very conservative, not taking on too many trades. And I would be surprised if things do come around. You probably won't start trading until about earliest 1 or 2 a.m. my time. Usually it takes about 6 hours for it to come back. That's what I see. Let's see here. So we're going all the way back to 1446 time frame. You can see a number of lines here. So I can track the overall history of the market probably all the way back to Friday. So here's another ADA we've talked about. EOS we've talked about. ADA. See right here, another example. Strong 5-minute RSI. Here's a good move. But again, it's not strong enough over a long period of time of at least an hour before the system will take that trade. They're just not interested. It's all about momentum. But here's an interesting, we have a negative move on the 15-minute, and that's where it gets too choppy, and that's what happened where I got clipped on the XRP trades back in September 20th timeframe, as I mentioned earlier. I don't see anything exciting here. Yeah, EOS was doing pretty good, but still too choppy. It's not no momentum in the market over the last, let's see here, 1344. So yes, about that time at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. See, I'm just not seeing it, and it gets worse. Just there's not enough. I mean, there's really no spikes whatsoever on the 5-minute RSI. Not good, not good, not good. Anybody else got any questions? Let me know. I'm hunting for past spikes to see if there's any patterns I can see in this new regime that we're in from about a week ago. Not seeing anything. Here's a low RSI. Steam. See, when you have a low RSI on the 5-minute, what happens? The rate of trade change drops, and that's because there's not enough traders to maintain the momentum behind it. And it's just a guaranteed way to lose money if you take those type of trades. When the RSI is too low, and RSI is one of the only true indicators that's for real time, does not lag. And as I said before, earlier, before we take the trade, we do a momentum test over the last 3 hours. Here you can clearly see at this point, 11:54 today, we had negative momentum as a result. It would have taken the trade right here. Right here. Strong RSI, 78, 91 at 15 minutes and 1 hour, 85. That looks amazing. But I've been fooled before just on that. So we do one more test on momentum, and it clearly shows that momentum was negative 3 hours prior. Don't take the trade because we know it's high risk and we're going to lose money most likely. So we don't take the trade. And that's how I'm able to protect profit and protect potential losses. As you can see here, I've had that programmed in the system for a while. All these positions here on the 5th were taken, but the system protected itself from taking on losses because it closed out the position as soon as it hit 0 and was about to go negative. So it works, I think. But at the odd time, you will get a position that will go negative because of that downward negative momentum can be very quick. But we want to test for that to make sure we don't go negative. Any other questions so far? I'm not sure if we have a new set of people online. If you got any questions, just type them up in the chat. If you're on YouTube, if you're on the Zoom, just me on the Zoom. But if you're on YouTube, just go ahead and type away. I'm just call it talking to myself. Most likely we'll keep this video up for a day or so for the playback. And this will be part of my new course that I'm going to have a lot of videos going through exactly what I'm doing right here. This log was generated in Python. I show how to do it. One of my courses. So this video, probably the last video for the entire set of all the past YouTube videos I've had of this. This strategy seems to be working pretty good. Once I found the tweaks, knowing what I'm watching and not taking on any losses, you can see here, and then except for this one. But a few hours later, we're up 32%. This one I can control. That was from today, as I said, and I've got a patch for it. It was a stupid move, but it's been patched. That was so glaring. I could have prevented this bad position. I've already talked about that earlier. So back to the log. Let's see what we got here. ADA is doing really good, but it was just too choppy. I can show that on a chart, but I can see it clearly in the data here. So I don't really need to go through a chart to see it visually. But somebody asked about XRP. Oh, have I ever traded Dogecoin? Yeah. Here's what I think of Doge, and it's very simple. Where's my Safari? When you look at Doge, I don't think oh, here we go. Yeah, I do watch it, but I don't get a lot of opportunities because right now the ADA is the hot one, and it just depends on volume. If I see more Dogecoin, I'll definitely trade it. It just depends upon what my system sees. Right now, it's watching ADA. That's the hot one. Tomorrow it could be Dogecoin. Who knows? It's a rules-based system. It doesn't care where it's trading. If the opportunity is there in the data, it'll watch it. That's what it's doing right now. And from time to time, it's been watching tonight. In the last hour since it started up this stream, it's been watching Steam and it comes on the watch list and it drops off because it's too much negative movement. So, so far as I can see, ADA has been fairly solid for the last hour, but there's just not strong enough momentum for it. And it could be the same thing tomorrow or next week where Doge could be that same coin. So it just depends on the market and the opportunity that presents itself. So there's nothing, do I trade it because I like it? It's because my system will see it, but I do watch it. Because my system will watch the top 30. And beyond that, no. Actually, I can show you the list that my system watches. So I have this list called Binance Top. So here, you can clearly see these are the pairs that I watch. I'm not sure if I have Doge. Oh, maybe I don't watch it. Okay, yeah, I don't watch it. There's a reason for it. All of my references of these crypto coins I just showed you on that list are from Coinbase. The list for my for what I consider this crypto risk thing, these are the 5 pairs that you can currently trade on Coinbase. And Coinbase is trying to be as big as and be the institutional place to go for as an exchange for institutional players. So what I did was I figured, okay, the only pairs that I can trade are these 5. Next week it may change, but I'll sync up always with what Coinbase offers. So if you go back to that list that I showed you, there's other coins in there. Back in June, I believe, they talked about certain coins that they were going to add. There's 5. And then in August, they brought out another list that they wanted considered to trade. So this entire list is from those 2 postings to synchronize with what Coinbase will eventually add to what they watch. So I keep my list based on that. And that's the reason why Dogecoin is not in there. So for whatever reason why Coinbase won't add Doge, I don't know why. So you won't find out on this list here. Do you think institutions will pump Ethereum eventually? I don't know. I think, to be honest, Ethereum Classic is not about being pumped. It's about, like I said, if the trading opportunities there for Ethereum Classic to be traded, it'll be traded. If it's not, they'll trade something else. Last week it was XRP, and there's talk it may be Tether. Who knows? It just depends on the hype, and it can change. I'm not sure if it's a question of institutions will come in and pump it. It's just what they feel is legitimate, has some form of legitimacy. As I said earlier, with the type of news that you had with Ethereum Classic and the founder leaving, that obviously is a black eye against the currency, but it may come back. I don't know. So it's just tough to say. So if you got any other questions, let me know. But I'm just, like I said, going through all all of this fun stuff. Let's see what we got going on in the. So things are okay. So look at this. Oh, Bitcoin Cash is still down 12%. So we only have two coins right here, ADA against Ethereum and Bitcoin. That's all. That's been consistent since we started this. So who knows? Let's see here, Steam that was on there, but just too much negative. So eventually it gets dropped. BTG is another one that's good. In my case, I got lucky with it, and it really is a lot of it's luck. But I've also had very bad positions as well because it goes negative too fast. The momentum's not there. Let me see here. Did okay on Saturday with Steam as well. But this EOS I've not traded before, so I don't know. It's Fun and Mana. Yeah, okay. Let me go back to that list. Those are good coins to ask about. Okay, so see, I don't have Fun in there in that list and Mana, but I will say this. My system, before I made these changes to these new set of coins and only 30, and then before that, I watched 300 plus. The ones I saw that were very active was Fun and Mana, very, very active. But at the same time, it was no different than XRP, where it was just too choppy. So if I go into the charts, let's see if I can figure that out. No, I'm going to my Safari. Binance. So let me say Bitcoin market. Okay, let's do Fun BTC, Fun Fair. Okay. Let's check out the chart. And I bet you it's the same what I think it is. So if I look at, yeah, here, so that's an hourly. It comes back to the same thing, which I'm not, you see the pairs, there's a few green, but it just, there's not solid momentum behind this thing. And because of it, it's too risky to trade because of all these negative or red bars. So you take on a trade, chances are, again, it's going to go against you. I don't know what causes this. Look at this bar. You would have to go through 3 little up moves, get a hit, and then this big move. So it's not really a good coin to trade from a human perspective. There may be some opportunity with it. I'm just not a one that I like. And that's probably why Coinbase won't add this coin as well. But if I look at the other one, Mana, let's see here. I think it's the same. It's the same deal, right? Too many negative moves. And that's probably why Coinbase doesn't like it, because it's just too volatile and too much downside risk. That's what I figure. I mean, these kind of negative bars will kill you. ENG. I will tell you, I've not seen ENG get traded before in my system. I don't recall ENG. But this one, yeah, see, it's just too many red bars there. This is hourly. I know Coinbase people were having some beer with the, I see. I don't know. But you got to be careful on Coinbase, because if they want to be legitimate, and if a team comes along and offers to hang out with Coinbase for a couple of beers and just all of a sudden they get added, I don't think it works that way. Coinbase needs to be really strict on the coins that they add. So if you look at BTG or maybe Steam, where I see more up moves. Let's see here. Yeah, see, it's not as extreme. There's lots of negative or red bars, but they're not as, I shouldn't say that. Here's an extreme one right here. But I don't know what was going on in the markets at this point. But it's important to understand that can go against you. So let me just look at the monthly chart here. See, look, it's just too much negative. Yikes. But there's always those times where the opportunities there, as I showed you on the Saturday. Poly was heavily talked about during the security token craze. Poly. Let's see here. Yeah, you see, that's another thing is Poly? No. Let's see, Poly. Yeah. No, I don't see Poly here. It's not on Bitcoin. I can go on investing.com and check it all out. Poly, it'll be on a different exchange, obviously. Poly, Bitcoin. There we go. So it's on KuCoin. Yeah, so let me just check that list again here. Looks like you're saying Poly, Bitcoin, down here. BTC. So let's see what kind of exchanges we have. So it's on HIT BTC, which is the questionable exchange. These other ones are questionable. KuCoin is the ICO exchange. I tried looking at Binance. It's not on Binance. So KuCoin is another ICO exchange. So it's either too new or not trusted. It needs to have a $25 million float to be listed on Binance, but that may have changed. So if I look at the hourly, yeah, it's not moving a lot, 0.28%. Let's see if I look at the daily. Yeah, it's got clobbered. As you said, it went through some. Do you know when that coin came out? Looks like it came out in June sometime. And then it just dropped. Oh no. 3 months, so 1 month. So it came out in February, I'm assuming here, but it's hit its 2 peaks and it's just died off. No, not if it's only on KuCoin, I wouldn't be touching it. Binance, I couldn't find it on Binance. Poly BTC. If it was listed, it would come up here. So Polymath. Yeah, hit BTC. It's for sure on Binance. Okay, I'll look at Binance down here. Maybe should be at least on Bitcoin market. Okay, Poly. Oh yeah, there it is. But you're probably gonna have the same problem as before, where it's just too many negative. Yeah, you can see here, it's just been down. So I don't know. We can see here. Did you hear that security tokens will be big? No, but I can tell you this. If you go to cryptocurrency, what the coins that will be big will be Zcash and Monero. Monero is not going anywhere, but the volume of it's pretty impressive. It's in the top 10 due to the fact of, it's an anonymous coin. It's tried trading XMR, has not done very well, but, I'm still testing this strategy. Haven't made any money with XMR, but I do like Monero. If I put my money, Omero releasing Terry is big. Yeah, I don't know the underlying technology with these new updates, but I did read something about adding extra security. So yeah, and Zcash is another one as well. So that's at 21. So they're up there. But Zcash, let me see here. I think Coinbase is adding Zcash. It's not adding Monero because of the bad press, because it's associated with the dark web. So here's some of the new coins that are being added. This came out in July from Coinbase. So Zcash and 0x. IOTA seems to have an important looking team. Well, let me just check on the coin market cap on the ranking of it. IOTA. Yeah, I remember IOTA. There's a lot of buzz about IOTA. So it's not, it was up there for a while, but it just doesn't seem, I don't know. I can't really say. Lots of cryptocurrencies come and go. But as I was saying, it's important to know what works and what doesn't, what's legitimate. And usually what I'm seeing, it's usually if you follow and sync with what Coinbase will add. So here in July, they're adding these coins, including Zcash, Cardano, Basic Attention Token, Stellar, Lumens, and Zcash. Beat Connect is again, I'm not sure. Beat. Let me just see. Beat Connect. Oh, that's a coin. Oh, BitConnect. Oh, I see. Yeah, you asked me about BitConnect, the exchange. I'm not aware. Stellar Expert platform trading for free. I wonder if it has liquidity, but I keep hearing XLM is really good. Well, let me just check the coin market cap on this exchange. Again, buzz is one thing. It's what the data shows, and I know BitConnect is a scam. Yeah, there's a lot of scams. The only one I trust is Binance. That's all I can tell you. And we've been through the exchanges here. Adjusted volume. Yeah, I mean, anything. I mean, to be honest, based upon volume, I mean, it's leading here at 920. Second best is BitThumb, and these exchanges are just questionable. Bitfinex has had its bad news last little bit. Crypto last year crashed the Koreans. Yeah, regulators stepped in. I know. I mean, the only one that is reliable from what I'm seeing is Binance. And that's it. And from the developer point of view, an API, I think once they get bad news press, they never come back, to be honest. That's how I look at it. So that's it. So 8:30, you got any other further questions? Kodajin, thanks for asking all the questions. It's pretty cool of you. Hopefully I'll be able to help you out. Let me know. Yeah, maybe. No? I'll wait it out for 5 minutes. If you got a question, let me know. Would you use any DEX? Probably not, no. No. As I said, the only exchange I care about is Binance. Everything else is off my radar. If I went sophisticated and BitMEX was proven to be okay, I'd be on BitMEX. But all the other exchanges I've tried, I didn't like them, and I'm not going to waste my time on anything else. I don't see any advantages. So, yeah, I know HitBTC's got a very bad reputation. Binance seems okay. I've tried them out. I can't guarantee it, but it's the best, like I said, of the dirty shirts. Anything else? Got 834. Anything at all? Okay, man. Good night. Just so everybody was watching, I do have my sale up until midnight tonight for the $100 discount if you're into it. If not, I'm going to add it $100. If you want the quant analytics, you want all of this stuff, you have yourself a profitable evening. Well, I appreciate that, but it doesn't look too good on the markets, as we said. I don't think it's changed a lot. No, it hasn't changed. It's still down. But hopefully we'll have a profitable morning if things change. All right, man. Thanks for watching. And hopefully I've answered your questions. If not, you know where to get me at. Feedback@quantlabs.net, the email. All right, man. Have yourselves a good evening. All right, man. Good day.